The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and DoctorJonPaul, LLC. And hey everyone, welcome to an extra special episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. My name is John, also known as DoctorJonPaul, and I don't know about you, but nothing in this world has felt the same ever since Snapple changed their bottle from glass to plastic. What is life? Why are we, Chris, can you put some church music over this? So this is a little bit of a hymn, about my testimony. I said that there was an age, this is gonna age me a little. There was a time. Do you remember when you can get a nice cold Snapple in that glass bottle on a nice SoCal spring day? Mama had her food stamps, fridge was full, and you just knew somehow, some way that things was going to be okay. All from that glass of Snapple. Now they put them in a plastic bottle, and it doesn't hit the same. I don't know, it's something about it just don't hit the same. And now look at us fighting over eggs, toilet tissue, and our rights. My God, what a moment. That is least pleasing to me. But how are you, Queen Joho?
Least pleasing is exactly the word I'd use, my sister. Woo, child.
Least pleasing to me.
And I miss the condensation on that glass bottle.
Yes,
when it comes out the fridge just in sunlight, and she sweats a little bit, a little sweaty Snapple.
Oh, absolutely fresh. My God.
You open it here, a little crisp. Okay.
That way that bottle would just pop open. Yes, God.
It made me clench. Okay. That
made your booty tight.
That was my poppers. Okay. That was my poppers for real. I love nothing. But y'all, it is your girl Jordan or Joho if you're nasty. Actually, reverse is Joho. Jordan if you're nasty.
Yes.
And I just want to say I mess a glass bottle for a lot of reasons, because arguably, is it not better for the environment? Like, I'm so confused. All this talk about climate change, and y'all want to give us plastic bottles? I thought we wanted to save our earth. What are we doing?
Don't nobody care about this damn earth.
I mean,
and in turn, she ain't gonna care about us. Watch, she gonna wipe us all off of this planet and say, "Start over. Go. Earth, do not pass go."
Earth out here watching Paradise, and it's like, you know what, girl? That's a good idea that y'all had. Y'all had a good idea on that one. Let me get my Arctic Circle fucked up for y'all real quick.
That's exactly. We gonna have one of these days. They just gonna have to put a dome over us because we ain't gonna be able to live. But anyway, we still love our Earth. Please make sure that you recycle. And with that being said, this week we are excited to bring on a longtime friend and supporter of the show to celebrate a day that we should be celebrating, honestly, every day, if you really want to keep it a buck. Okay. But today we wanted to invite our Loveable Trans Auntie to the stage to talk about love, life, and identity, honey. She is a community editor at Equal Pride, publisher of The Advocate Out Traveler Plus, and Pride.com. So when you see all of those really cute articles coming down your timeline, 9 times out of 10, this guest, I was going to say your name, child, but I'm not done with your introduction. Yeah, I was like, let me pause before I jump ahead. 9 times out of 10, she has been the one who has vetted these stories. And I also want to shout out that she was one of the first people to say yes to me to doing a story on my book. And so I'm forever grateful for her and all that she does. She's a Haitian American trans woman who tirelessly champions voices from the LGBTQ community while creating a vibrant community engagement approach that infuses each story with a dynamic, innovative perspective. And what I will say too, her spirit, I've met her several times in person, and her spirit is just so warm and so loving. I truly cannot say more than this. Thank you, Marie-Adélina, for being with us today. How are you?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much. That is a great introduction. And child, I'm not trying to cry. I just had a hormone shot, and all the emotions are going through.
The emotions are moving, yeah. I understand. But we love you, and we thank you for all that you do. And we are so grateful that you were here for this special day. So for those of you who are listening, yes, you are listening to this episode, Day of Trans Day of Visibility. And it is intentional. We wanted to make sure that we uplift our sisters and our dolls, and we talk about something that is wrapped in joy for y'all, because we do recognize that right now, there's not too many moments where we have moments to sit in joy. And so right now we're sitting in community, and I'm just really glad that you actually could make your schedule work for you to be here. here. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump right into our first segment. So our first segment still here. This is where we kick off the show and we give our love, as you all know, to the great Tisha Campbell, and letting her know that yes, we are still. I'm still here. Here.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. We're still here and we're gonna be here forever, honey.
Okay.
Regardless of if you try to get rid of us. And so I know we are celebrating TDOV, and for those of you who, like me, struggle with acronyms, today is Trans Day of Visibility, and I wanted to ask you both. While I know we spend a lot of time talking about being seen, wanting to be seen, representation, all these different things that we're constantly always, kind of in conversation around. I did want to ask you, how have you both dealt with being visibly queer in a moment, specifically in spaces where being visibly queer might put you in danger? And so I'll start with mine. Marie will jump to you, and then Joho will add in your thoughts. Um, I'm laughing because on our show flow it just says thoughts. And I'm like, I know what that means. Whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, Joho's got something good to say. So I did want to say, I don't want to keep harping on my book, which you all can get anywhere and everywhere books are
How
sold.
you
And
doing?
if you ain't got, and if you can't do the book, you can also do the audio. The audiobook is
Okay.
alive and well and kicking as well. But I know that there is a moment, my team, like I'm somebody. There's a couple of people around me who is helping to kind of put this tour together, and one person said, I would love for you to go. We got an ask for me to go to Alabama. There's two different places they're wanting me to go to Alabama, and immediately when they brought that up to me, I was like, my God, I don't know how I feel about that because we all know Alabama is a very red place. And we've talked about it, right? Navigating this world in a very, very, what feels like a very red time. And so, yes, I know that there are people who really need to, quote unquote, hear from me, but also this shit is terrifying. The thought of being in a state that I don't know, a place that I don't know, and being my authentic self. It just, there's a part of me that's like, I want to pass on it, but I often feel really tired at the end of the day of thinking of it and feeling like I'm constantly having to live in this place of fear. So there's a part of me that's like, yes, yes, girl, be worried, but also do the thing. Like you still have work to do. And so, yes, I'm hyper alert. Yes, I'm looking at, looking at all the things to keep myself safe. But at the same time, I'm recognizing that I can't change things in this world if I don't actually show up for them. So again, it's like Audre Lorde said, do it scared, right? We have to do things, whether we're afraid or not, we still have to do it scared. And so, I think the biggest thing for me is just recognizing, like, it may be scary, and yeah, there are going to be things about being me that might be that may make me afraid, but it's going to instill life into someone else, and that's the reason why I keep showing up my authentic self. So, Marie, I would love to hear your perspective on that.
I every time I enter a space or think about taking on something, I always remember the one thing my grandfather taught me,
Mm-hmm.
that fear can limit our capacity to learn. Fear can limit our capacity to love. Fear is the
Yeah.
greatest enemy of freedom, and never let freedom take hold of your destiny. And
Mm.
I have always been one of the, whether I'm the only non-white person, the only trans person, in spaces and places that are often not open to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, my friend Tracy Gilchrist said, like, people are holding space. I know and have learned to take up space,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
never dim myself
Yeah.
or shrink myself for other people. I am
Mm.
proudly trans. I am proudly Black, and no one's going to tell me otherwise. No one can
Right.
stop me from living.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm. I know that's right. And it's like, and even if, and I say this too, and and this is something that's a reality for many of us, right? Even in death, I've been saying too, like, you may try it, but even in death, I'm still going to live, right?
right.
People are still going to know me. They're going to know my legacy. They're going to know what I've done on this earth. And so as much as you try to get rid of me, I'm still going to be here. So I love that you say that. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Joho?
For me, being queer, and I say this a lot on the show and in life, but like being queer, I think is the most privilege I've ever had in my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love being queer more than I love being anything. And
I know that's right.
like I love my Blackness, I love my Jewishness both so much.
Mm-hmm.
but like
Mm-hmm.
they would be different if I wasn't queer. Right? Like
Right.
my queerness is what makes it interesting for me and exciting and cool, and to be these ethnic identities and these racial identities, but be queer is what makes me feel powerful.
Yeah.
And so I think when it comes to how I deal with being visibly queer in this moment, when knowing that being queer might be in danger, I'm in danger regardless. Like
Same.
unfortunately, I have not had the privilege of not feeling endangered. Like there's nothing I do in life that's not
Right.
seen as
Right.
endangering.
Yeah.
But I think I can say I've made the conscious choice to say I probably won't travel to certain states for sure. Not because I necessarily feel scared, because I just don't have to deal with the bullshit. Like it's just not gonna be
See.
worth it. You have to try and do the bullshit. But I think also like I I cannot control how people react to me. I don't know how people are going to react to seeing a 6 foot, 300 pound dude with with acrylic
Some badass
nails.
acrylic
Like
nails.
come
Yeah.
like I don't know what's going to happen when people see it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so but I can't concern myself with worrying, are they gonna feel scared or nervous? And truthfully, like they I I really love what you said. I really love what what your grandparents shared with you, Marie Alina, because they're like, I don't want to let their fear and disrupt my freedom. I
Mhm.
Mm.
cannot let their fear challenge my freedom and make me feel like I can't be free. Like
Right.
I have the keys to my freedom. They do not. They do not get the power or the right to try and usurp that, like that power for me. So I
Yeah.
think so I'll just say I think the way I've dealt with it is recognizing my queer is powerful.
Mhm.
And they wouldn't be scared if it wasn't powerful, right? They wouldn't be scared if it wasn't powerful.
Right.
Facts.
So
That
my
is
queer
very
is
much a fact.
powerful. My queer is
Mhm.
amazing. My queer is what connects me with people. Like my community around me is so queer.
Yeah.
Like I truly could cry about how amazing my community is because it's queer. And so I know that whatever I do, my back is God, by my
Uh-huh.
friends, by my family,
Mhm.
by
Amen.
by my higher beings, right? Like I know God, God knows my heart. I don't know about anyone else's heart, but
Mhm.
my God, my God's is know my heart. And so
Yeah.
I feel supreme, I just feel supreme. I know it's a woo woo ass response, but I think the way
I
the
love
way
it.
I deal with it is like
Mhm.
I I know I'm blessed and highly favored, blessed and highly favored all
That's it.
all the
That's
time.
real.
That's right.
I was laughing because when you were talking about being black, I was like, "Ooh, being." I keep thinking about that meme I saw where someone was like, "Being black is a little dangerous, but it's fun as hell."
Girl, it
And
is.
I'm like, "Yes." And then you sprinkle in some queerness for razzle dazzle,
Look
and
for
it's like, "Yes, bitch." Like this shit is really scary, but my God, isn't it fun? It is.
because it's powerful to be like
Yes,
oh, I get to be part of the cultures that everyone's trying to bite all the time.
that
Like
it. That's it.
y'all say on our asses trying to bite our shit all the time.
Mhm.
Okay, the power
Mhm.
we have. Look at the material. Oh my
Yeah, look at the
god.
material. Like I had a it's funny because you say this and I know we have to go to commercial, but I was laughing because I was talking to someone I assume is straight. And he basically was like, "What's it giving?" And I looked at him and was like, "Wait a second now." I was like, "Wait a second." And I was like, not them trying to take our lingo, right? Like it's just that kind of shit where I'm like,
Mm.
y'all want to be us so bad. Y'all really
Okay.
y'all hate
Yes,
us, but
about me,
y'all want to
God.
be us so
Pick me
bad.
ass bitches. Pick me ass
Yeah.
bitches. You want to be us so bad. I
You want to
can't.
be us so bad. I live. All right, y'all. Well, with that being said, now that we all have signed up for Muay Thai kickboxing classes, because if you know, you know, we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we are going to have more with our lovable trans auntie back in a second.
Okay, family, we are back, and this week for category is we want to chat with our auntie to discuss the concept of visibility on Trans Day of Visibility. So first, I want to give y'all a quick little history lesson, and then we'll pass it to our guest because it's not her job to tell y'all. For
I
those
know
who
that's
don't
right.
know,
I never would.
it never was, it never will be. Okay.
I'm not doing
For
that. Get
those who
somebody else to
don't
do it.
know, TDOB was
Mhm.
founded by Rachel Crandall Crocker, a psychotherapist, and the executive director of Transgender Michigan in 2009. And it aims to celebrate the lives and achievements of trans and gender expansive people while also raising awareness about the ongoing challenges, discrimination that often leads to death and murder that
Mhm.
the trans community faces. This day celebrates the idea that we are more than our pain. That trans people collectively should be and need to be held in high regards for all that they have done and continue to do. And may I add, celebrated for just existing in a world that does not want them to exist.
Mm.
I also want to do with the idea that trans folks have to like do something for the
Right.
world.
Mhm.
Simply existing is enough, and
Yep.
then to me, trans visibility also celebrates that too. So before we get into the fun, our dear guest Marie-Adélina, is it like so? Am I pronouncing it correctly,
Are we pronouncing it right?
Marie-Adélina? Or
Yeah,
okay,
Maria.
I'm making
Okay,
sure. Okay,
Marie-Adélina. Okay,
us
great.
about what trans day of visibility has meant for you and why we should talk about all the time, not just on March 31st.
Being visible means rooting and grounding yourself in self-love. And
Mhm.
it's something Hope Giselle, because I interviewed her
Mm,
for an article, and she said we we have to learn to love ourselves in our
Mhm.
body, in our skins, and love ourselves so hard that it feels selfish.
Yeah.
And
oof.
visibility means, and I know with the for the trans community, we've adopted like the butterfly as like a representation, and visibility is the ability to just spread your wings and fly high. Because for so many of us, we're often told to like stay in the closet or to hide ourselves, but there's no need to be in that chrysalis. Just
Mm.
spread your
Mm,
wings and fly high. And that's what visibility means
Mhm.
for me.
mm,
Mm. Spread your wings and prepare to fly, but you will become a butterfly. Oh, fly. Okay, I have to stop singing before we get sued. But my God, I was feeling that. Like I was literally sitting here shaking my hands because I felt
mm,
every word that you said. My God, what a moment. I love this response because, for years I've said that I feel like the world and the community too only looks at Black trans people when something terrible happens. And I feel like visibility is not just about the idea of like what's happening on the, I would say, the front side of the pain, right? I really
Mhm.
think that we really need to. I'll say this, from what I know and what I've seen, trans, specifically Black trans women, are usually at the helm or at the front of every single massive major change that we have in this country and in this world. And I think we need to start really celebrate. And that's the reason why I think for me, I'm recognizing and I'm starting to really love the idea that I do have a lot of strong connections and deep connections with Black trans women who I don't necessarily look at as, oh, I have to learn from them, because that's not what it is. It's the respect factor, right? It's this idea of how do I watch you move? How do I watch you navigate systems that are even oppressing me as a cisgender non-binary person, and find my voice through that. And so when you talk about this idea of being able to fly, it means so much to me. And so I just love our community so much. I did want to ask, I'm really happy that in recent years it feels like trans people, specifically Black trans women, have made today feel more like a call to talk about rights,
mm,
and really thinking about how we discuss, like how do we have a true discussion about the privilege of things we don't have to think about versus the things that we do, right? And I think that's the thing for me that I really hold around this day is how many times I've heard Angelica Ross, and I've heard Dominique Morgan, and I've heard a lot of other trans girls talk about that, right? Like
Mhm.
even Marsha P. Johnson, that was her whole staple was give me my fucking rights.
Right.
I deserve my rights. And so I wanted to ask you, right, as we think about this, as we think about visibility, who are some of the folks who inspire our auntie when it comes to being so comfortable, cozy in your skin?
The person that inspires me the most is my own lovable trans auntie.
Mhm.
I grew
I read that article. Yeah.
mm,
I read that article. I did.
and
Mhm.
Kiki, we were like, there was only like a 4-year difference. So she was more like an older sister.
Yeah.
And she came into herself in, in like 99, 2000, in that era. So this is
Mhm.
like way before we had all the discussions about trans rights
Right.
in
Yeah.
in a more public sphere. And
Mhm.
being a Black trans woman then and navigating the world then, no matter what and how she was treated, she still kept moving forward. She still
Mm.
remained comfortable in her skin.
Yeah.
And she's the one that just inspires me the most. And the one that there's not a day that I don't think about her. And unfortunately, she did pass away back in
Mhm.
2013. But she is the one that I think about always.
Mhm. Uh, and you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna link that story to our show notes because I think it's a really beautiful. The baby pictures got me. It was like, oh, like it like yeah, my throat thug tear, right? A thug tear came down. But I think it's so important to see. Like, I think why I love that story so much, and why I want folks to read it is because we're seeing. I've been saying a lot. Like, I believe that my trans ancestors is why I'm still here and why I'm doing what I get to do, and it's really cool to be able to see a trans sister uplift you in the way, and then seeing you do what you do, and for not even us as a podcast to give you flowers, but also like being able to know that there are people who are reading this and are being inspired by not only you but also Kiki and in this life. So I now I'll get to think of Kiki as a trans sister, and it really makes me happy. So I just
Mm.
wanted to say that.
Oh, that's so beautiful to hear, and I
Mhm.
really appreciate you saying that so much. And I want to say also, love so much, like the name Loveable Trans Auntie, because I think that's just like really, really, it just feels really special because I feel like everyone wants to be in the auntie era right now. Like everyone loves aunties. Like no one wants to be a parent. They want to be everyone's auntie, and I love so much. And so being like Loveable Trans Auntie is so special. I
So
want
I'm
to
not your mama, but I'll be
listen,
honest.
okay, listen, like yeah, and so
Yeah.
I love for you to talk a little bit about the idea of like why the name, right, and also why why folks need to be listening to our lovable trans family members, like
Yes.
even
Yes.
even if sometimes people may not love them in that moment, and I'm asking this especially after reading, I had read your article about when you mentioned when after Sam Norquist's murder, that the assailants may have also identified with it, may have also identified within the community, and you posed a question of like why is the community that trans folks have built the one that's also killing us too. So
Mhm.
I would love to
Mhm.
make sure that's tapped on there as well.
You know, I think when we tell our stories, we humanize an experience that is otherwise being politicized. You know,
Mhm.
when
Mm.
you there's a big difference between reading an article or reading a report about trans violence and anti-trans bills, but when you read someone's story or sit and listen to someone's stories, we're humanizing the experience.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We're humanizing something that a lot of people just don't conceptualize or don't truly understand. And I think the power of storytelling allows us to get so many things across. You
Amen.
know, it's easier to tell a story and someone take it to heart than to read a report or to read to read
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
an article because it doesn't
Yeah.
sound newsy. It sounds personal. It sounds
Mhm.
intimate. We're letting you in rather than you just reading it surface level.
Yeah.
Mm.
I again, and that I think that's the reason why I think it's so imperative. So I mean, I know not to take the light away from you, but I think it made me so joyful, like thinking about I think it's the Trans Journalism Association, right?
Mhm.
That we now have Travell, who is the executive director of. It's it's great that we have not only just the organization, but we have trans people like Travell leading it,
Yeah.
because to a degree, it's really allowing us to allow trans people to tell their stories the way that they want to tell their stories. And I think that
Mm.
for me is what is most important. It's because, again, and that's one of the things I've been saying even too in my own journey. I've said, I want to make sure that if something does ever happen to me, that I leave behind my story, right? I don't want someone to pick and choose how they get to show me in the light of the world, right? I'm putting all this shit out here. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. But I think it is so imperative that we let trans people tell their own stories. So again, I know that you're a journalist, and I'm so grateful and thankful that I know that you're the one that gets to see these stories and kind of handle them.
And I don't really consider myself a journalist. I consider myself a storyteller, because
Mhm.
Mm.
storytelling is very different from journalism. I mean, I know on face value it looks like I'm a journalist, but no,
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller. I am a curator, a purveyor of stories.
Mm.
Okay.
Baby,
Well,
she
you
is queer media. Okay.
how you doing?
How
But I
you
was also going to say, I'm going to live in the James Baldwin, and I'm going to say you can be both, because I truly
Mm.
believe that storytelling is a part of journalism. And as someone who
It is.
has roots of journalism in their degree, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I still want to give you your credit,
Oh,
because you're out here finding these stories. You were out here, putting these stories together, and you're remembering people in the process. So I want to give credit where
I'm
credit
gonna
is due.
cry. Stop it! Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due,
Receive.
bitch.
Receive it.
Yes,
You
girl,
are
you
we are showing you our lovable trans auntie. Receive the love.
yes, yes,
Please.
yes, yes, she's an icon.
Told you that she is the moment.
Yeah, she is
Now
the
come
moment.
on
Now, come
now.
on now. Yes, yeah. One thing that Wendy got right. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this. I think, since we're celebrating not only just your accomplishments, but trans accomplishments across the board, I would love to know, like, what's something that you think about in your own lived experience, or even in terms of just in overall trans visibility, and you go, yes, bitch. Like, what's that thing that makes you say yes when you think about trans visibility?
For so long, well, I can't say for so long, but especially in the earlier part of my journey, I
Mhm.
didn't see a lot of people in the room that looked like me or lived in my experience. And there was a moment a few years ago when we attended the Black Queer Creative Summit
Uh-huh.
through GLAD, and seeing Black trans women who are just making it, who are creating the content, who are doing the damn thing. And that was definitely a moment that I was like, yes, we are here. We are
Mhm.
doing it.
Mhm.
We are surviving and thriving. And it's just seeing us in spaces and places where for so long we weren't allowed back in.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that.
So I just have one more question for this category for you, just because, like, we're just on the topic of joy, because there's so much shit happening right now. But the thing that we love about the trans
My God.
visibility is that it centers joy, like in concept and in praxis. And so I want to ask you, how have you centered joy around your lived experience, both in and out of this moment? And what advice can you give to other trans folks who maybe are struggling to find joy themselves?
Mm,
You
mm.
know, dang, that's a hard question. Hold on, let me think about that. I'm so sorry.
No,
You're
you're
fine.
fine.
You're fine.
um,
You said Beyonce. You said, "Ooh, what,
What are my aspirations in
what are
life?
my aspirations in life?"
Yeah, yeah.
um, it's joy. Trans joy takes time. Trans
Wait
joy,
now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Now go ahead. Go take me to church. Go
trans
ahead.
joy takes time. I mean, it's
Ooh.
not. I've been on this in this second part of my trans journey for almost a decade now. And it's only recently that I felt that I have like truly, truly, truly felt comfortable in my body and my skin. And especially in this time in this country, it's it seems wild that, I would feel joyful. Joy takes time. Joy
Mm,
joy doesn't have to look like a big celebration. Joy can be just taking care of yourself. Joy can be going out on a weekend and just like being seen in a space. Joy does take time. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but
No,
there it
you
is. I'm so sorry.
that's a big ass word.
Mhm.
No, I mean, I just literally went back and titled the episode "Joy Takes Time," and I think that that's
Yeah.
something that I've never really heard anyone put into perspective. I mean, because people think you're like we're such a people of immediate gratification.
Hmm.
And I think that people imagine like automatically think, well, once I transition or once I come out, quote unquote, my life will be grand. Everything will be
Right.
great. And it's like, no, there's still hurdles and there's still things you're
Yeah.
gonna have to deal with. And you may even have more hurdles.
Right.
But I
Mhm.
can guarantee you that you're gonna get to a place after those hurdles. Like I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in 3 months. And I have never been as happy in this body as I have been,
Right.
Mhm.
and it took me 39 years to get to this place where I'm happy in this body. Right. But so I love that you say that because I have never heard, like, I've thought it, but I've never heard anyone frame it in that way. So thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
All right, y'all. Now that we have our listeners out here waving trans flags everywhere, we gotta take a quick break to pay Uncle Scam because he's scamming us in these streets.
Amen.
When we come back, we will have a little bit more time with our Loveable Trans Auntie. More in just a bit, y'all.
All right, y'all. We are back and black. This week, we are picking up the Go Love Yourself segment. We haven't been here for a minute. And so, keeping with the theme of Trans Day Visibility, I wanted to ask both my sis and our new auntie a good question that makes us feel a little warm and fuzzy on the inside. I'd love to ask you, kind of keeping in this frame of joy. We touched on it in our last segment. I think it's imperative that we ask this question and we kind of reflect on this question often now because I think there's so much for us, like all this shit is heavy and there's just so every day it feels like there's something else that we're having to like navigate and we're having to deal with. And so I would really love to like ask you both what makes you happy to be who you are, whether it be non-binary, trans, all of the across the board, in a moment where it feels like folks are trying to kind of make you question it. And I think I want to differentiate this question because we were talking earlier about safety, and so it may sound like we're asking the same question, but we're not. We're talking about the idea of how do you keep showing up for yourself even in moments when you're not safe. And now we're asking the question, right? Like, what makes you happy to be who you are in a time when folks are trying to make you question that? And so I think for me, yeah, I'll go and then I'll ask you, Marie-Adélina, and then Joho, we'll throw it to you. I know for me, I think about this a lot because while I'm like thinking about my safety and I'm thinking about all of the moments where I'm like, oop, I may not want to go over there. I may not. This is a little sketchy. I think what also makes me so happy to be so outwardly non-binary and blackly, fatly non-binary
Mm.
is this idea of knowing that I'm a free ass motherfucker. I'm just free. And there's really not too much that people can do to make me go back inside of myself. And I'm sure you all know what that means, right? The moments where you like second guess something about yourself, um,
Mhm.
or you may feel like you're flipping your role and you're having to play being someone you're not. I'm just in a place now where I don't let niggas live in my head rent free. I'm like, if you're gonna be in my head, oh, trust me, you've got to have a reason to be there. You've got to have a reason to be up in my head if it really makes that means you're paying bills. That means you're helping me get these student loans paid off. That means that you're helping me find new gigs. Like I don't when I go upstairs and I turn on my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the last thing I'm thinking about is what the world thinks about me. And so
Mm.
that makes me just feel really good, right? From my nails to my clothes to my makeup, which I'm learning how to do. I did my makeup yesterday for the GLAAD Honor
Okay.
Awards and I got complimented on
Hey.
it. And I was like, oh, so she's
Oh,
learning.
come
She's
on now.
learning how to
She's
blend.
learning. Yeah, come
She's
on,
learning how
blend.
she's learning how to do her eyebrows. She's learning how to put on a little bit. She's learning that
Meow.
you do concealer after you do the makeup. My God. My God. I used to think it was concealer first, but it's not. You put your primer on, you do your makeup, then you do your
Come
concealer
on,
and you blend,
tutorial.
right? Bitch
Come on,
is learning. So I'm
tutorial.
just it's a quick tutorial. Mother's learning. What about you, Marie-Adélina?
You know, it's calling out the bullshit and owning it, and calling out the bullshit when others may be afraid of you doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
just recently um, was kind of, and it's kind of leading me to my next article on coming out as trans in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came out, and mind you, I was in like the nonprofit world. I was working at a museum and at an
Mm-hmm.
orchestra, and I thought like coming out in the art gallery was going to be amazing and fun, and people were going to be accepting. But there were microaggressions,
Amen. Mm-hmm.
so many micro aggressions to the point that I quit. And this was a space that I loved. This was a space I was going to go back to school and earn another
A
master's
degree.
for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So recently I called them out on their bullshit because apparently almost a decade later, they're still being mindful and petty. So I put up a
Amen.
video and I basically said, there's a petty bitch who's still in her petty job, in her small petty world. And my mother called me and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I saw the video. I don't know if that's a good idea." And I'm like, "Mom, sometimes you got to burn bridges.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are bridges that you don't cross anymore.
Amen.
Sometimes,
So it'll light your way.
Some bridges
sometimes
got
those
got
bridges,
trolls underneath them. You gotta go
Burn them
around.
too. Burn them trolls too.
yeah,
Amen.
and sometimes those bridges don't
Mm-hmm.
hold weight like they used to. Burn it on
Hello.
the ground."
Some of the bitches are wooden. They need to.
Yes.
So I called them out and I said, "You know what? Thank you. I'm gonna say thank you to the Memorial Art Gallery for being
Mm-hmm.
petty because now
Mm-hmm.
you've made me stronger and bolder,
Amen.
and you can't touch this." I
Ca-
Okay.
cannot. You can't.
wasn't singing it. I was just saying,
Yeah. Mhm, mhm. Dun, 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 dun. You can't touch this.
Oh
Amen.
my god, I live.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Who?
Mhm.
Okay, first of all, Marie-Adélina, I was gonna say, you're clearly in queer media because every answer you have is succinct, to the point, quick.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, she is media training. Okay, she
Yes.
knows exactly what to
It's
do.
giving Oprah.
Okay,
It's
knows
giving
exactly
I
what
do
to do.
interviews for a living.
I
You're not
live.
gonna get a runaround with my answer.
I
Very to the
live
point.
truly. Also, John, I love you said you free as a motherfucker because all in my head we said that I was like, that's John. John's a free ass motherfucker. That's all I can hear.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, I
And
live
continue to be.
it
My
is. It
favorite
will
thing to do
be.
when people look at me is hi. I see you looking. What's going on, girl? You all right?
"But
Like,
you want a picture?
Okay, and
I
let's
just
all
takes the
together.
picture.
yes,
Do
I'm
you want
micro
one?"
famous. Yes, I'm micro famous.
Not
You
my
may have
famous.
seen me on the
Stop.
Netflix banner. Yes. You know who I
That's
is.
You've seen my
Come
book
free.
on.
cover.
Hello. In your Barnes and
Okay,
Noble. And you're
okay,
new
and
and
new and
noteworthy, but
noteworthy,
you know who I
baby.
am.
Okay.
Yes. Don't play. But amen.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
So okay, so I have to say, a common misconception people have about me is that I am non-binary. People want me to be NB so bad. People want me to be NB so bad. And I'm not mad about
Come
it,
on
right?
down
People
here. Come on
I'm
over.
like, yeah, you want me to be NB so bad, and I love to see it, like because truly, like I'm not against it, and I respond to all pronouns in many ways, and so maybe that could mean that I'm non-binary in some ways. Like I've actually been doing a lot of self work of like, might I identify as non-binary binary that way? It'd be a whole conversation with my family that I don't want to have. Like it would just be a lot. I'm like, it's just not worth it. Like they love me, I love them. I'm not trying to engage in more things with them in that way. But I think what makes me happy to be perceived as such, though, like like when when the straights are like, are you non-binary? I'm like, girl, like you think I have nails, you think I'm non-binary? Calm down.
Right.
When the other queers perceive me as such, I love it because it sharpens my identity as a queer person.
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
identify as a queer person. I will shout from the mountaintops until the day I die that queer
Mhm.
is not gay in practice. Like queer to me will never be gay in practice, right?
Hello. Mhm.
Um, like I really, to me, I value being a queer person because when I see gay friend groups, they don't look like me and they won't look like me. They look
Mhm.
like each other. When I see queer friend groups, when I see queer friend groups, I see people of all shapes, sizes, ethnicities,
Mhm.
abilities, bald head, fro head. Like I see everybody in there. But
And
we
they
all
threw
look.
just one other in.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
like we are the spectrum, and I think to me is like, I think what makes me so happy, and but time people trying to they question it is like, you can't tell me that my community, and like kind of like I said earlier, like, you can't tell me that my community isn't bad. Like, we a
Mm.
bunch of bad bitches. Like, we just love, and we love being bad. Like, you can't tell me that
Mhm.
my community isn't cool, isn't dope, right? You can't tell me that my community is not dope when I have DoctorJonPaul in the
Mm.
community,
No, no,
right?
no.
Like,
It's not me.
no, no,
Okay, let's talk about Denali. Can we
listen,
know who I don't know if we know we met Denali at the
Denali Joel,
event.
right?
Yes, at
You
the
can't tell
creators
me.
event 2 years ago.
Mm.
My God, ethereal. That girl
You
is
can't tell me that my community is
nothing.
not bad when you see
Yes.
artists like Denali Joel. You can't tell me
Yeah.
that my community is not bad when Latrice Royale's on our show. You can't tell me that my
Amen.
community is not bad when we have Loveable Trans Auntie on our show today.
Mhm.
You can't tell me that my community is bad. The community is not bad as fuck when you see when you see the material of who we have, like
Mhm.
in the lineup of our lives, and
And if
so
I can add to your point, the fact that we still, and again, I think about this when I think about you, Marie, and it's really, I think this is the perfect episode for me to do this. I think in terms of getting emotional, I haven't cried on the show for a minute. Um, how amazing you are, even with all you've probably had to deal with. And I don't know your story fully, but it is so overwhelming to me to know like you're here and you're making a difference through your work, through just existing, through everything. And so I think about that a lot. It's like we are all dealing with so much and we all have so much up against us and we're still thriving and we're still moving. I look at you, Joho, and it's like I get emotional sometimes because I'm like, you're so happy all the time. And there's so much shit that I know is being thrown at you, across the board. And it's like my sis is still happy. Like that's just it blows my mind. And so I think like that's where my emotions is coming from right now is this notion of like life continues to keep trying. Like I wouldn't even say life. These beat this, Chris. These white niggas. These white niggas keep trying to take it away from us.
Yeah.
And we keep showing up badder and greater and stronger. My God, it's I've been saying this and I've mean it more than ever now. If God was to take me tomorrow and say, "Do you want to go back down to that hellscape?" I would say, "Yep," and I would ask to be black and queer and fat all over
again,
again.
all over again. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I think we live and survive not just for ourselves. We live and survive for the youth who is looking up to us and is amazed that we can be comfortable in our skins. But we are also living and thriving and surviving for those who were taken far too soon.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
beauty in
Mhm.
that. There's power in that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love that so much
So much.
like I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say myself is like
Sorry.
I like I live because I can, because I have that privilege to do so, and not everyone does, and not everyone
Yeah.
gets the chance to survive. I live because I'll be damned if I let some raggedy ass, dusty ass, crop dusting ass, like nasty ass administration take me out. I'll be damned
Mm,
if that happens. Like
mm,
I survived because I know I needed that when I was younger, and I know, and like not that I'm the one to do it for like the younger generation of people, but I'm one of the people that I get to
mhm,
stand here with
mhm,
my trans siblings, with my with my gender non-conforming siblings, with with our straight allies. I get to stand with them and say like we will not go. Like I am here and
mhm.
I'm queer and I will always be here for that.
Amen. Woo! All right. My God, what a segment. Oh, what a segment.
So we gotta
I'm
stop
loving
crying,
every
y'all.
moment of this episode. And I know I'm like, girl, you can't keep crying like this on the mic. Um, But no, it is definitely one of those moments where, like I said, I sit in awe of just, and I hope anyone who is trans that is listening to this, regardless if you are black or not, I hope you hear the joy that and the love that is radiating from all of
Mhm.
us for you today, because you deserve it. You deserve to know how special and important and how much you add to this world, not just today. Like I said, I I've been telling people I want to be black 365. I want to be queer
Mm.
365. I want trans people to be loved and upheld 365. Shit, 366. Give them everything and more. Put extra on the love that you give them, because they absolutely deserve it. With
Mm.
that being said, we got to take one more break to make sure that we take care of some bills. And then when we get back, we have your favorite segment, Yes Ma'am and No Ma'am Pam. Will be back in a minute. Okay, so before we jump into Yes Ma'am and No Ma'am Pam, sometimes folks get confused. No Ma'am Pam is basically something that's happening in the scope of the world that you, it could be really big, it can be really small, and that's something that you're yesing. You're like, yes, this is amazing, this is really, awesome. And then No Ma'am is usually when you're just kind of like, this bitch did this, or this person said this, or that person did that thing, and I want to call it out. So um
Can I call it out again?
yeah, you can call it out again if you want. You can say, I want to come back to this. And because I've done that. I have talked about something at the top of the episode and said, you know what? In my No Man Pal, I'm going to go back because I'm still not done with what I just talked about. So you could do that too. So I just want to make sure that you know that this is basically your section just to pretty much go off.
Oh, perfect.
You cool? All right, here we go.
Go.
All right, y'all. So this week, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into our Yes Ma'am and our No Ma'am Pams. My Yes Ma'am this week is Jasmine Crockett. Period. I know that she's been catching a lot of heat for calling that man. She said, "What?" She
Who and
called him
toe?
Senator Hot Wheels.
Stop.
Senator
She always
Wheels.
says something funny. I live for
And
her.
I know that everybody has been on her head about that, like, oh, that's ableist, and da, da, da. Maybe it is, and I pray that y'all don't cancel me for saying what I'm about to say. Yes, I understand this, but I wish we gave folks on the right the same kind of heat, because nobody
Okay.
said jack shit when your president was up there making fun of disabled people. Your president is taking away disabled people's rights and money and access to care. So we jump all on Jasmine Crockett about her making one statement and calling him Senator Hot Wheels, right? But the reality of the matter is that nobody, like, if we're gonna talk about it, let's be fair. Like, you
Okay.
know what I mean? Critique them as much as you critique us, because that, like, this is, you know what, this is gonna get me into my No Man Pam. And I know y'all know I have been really trying to stay away from all of the politics on this episode, but this is also where I'm at. My No Ma'am, I feel like I'm not educated enough to get into all of the schematics of what Democrats are doing wrong and blah blah blah. I know people who can't. I'm not that girl. I don't care enough. No shade. I don't care enough to sit down and to start critiquing people like AOC and all these other people that folks critique, right? That's just not me. It's never going to be me. What I will say is this: I need somebody to come up with a resistance plan. I'm tired of hearing folks talking about what's wrong. I need people to start doing something about what's wrong. So my No Ma'am is for folks who are, one, running scared of these people on the right, right? These folks who are sitting here going, oh, well, we have to play fair. No, them niggas are over there not playing fair. They're not playing, and they know that. And we all know that.
Mhm.
Fairness is not going to get us to liberation. It's not. The playbook is not going to get us to liberation. It's not going to get us free. It's not going to get us our rights. It's not going to get us. So we have to come up with something. I am also sick and tired of people sitting and critiquing and not helping to come up with a plan. That is the other thing that I'm really tired of when we talk about it, right? Y'all got a lot of people who love to be on the keys and love to talk about the Dems and all of this and who's doing this and who's not doing that, da, 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 da. But ain't none of y'all organizing a march. Ain't none of y'all organizing funds for people who need funds because they lost their jobs. Ain't none of y'all trying to find people food. Like, there's just so much.
Yep.
And so someone could probably turn around and say, well, John, what are you doing? I give my money to where I need to give it to. I help my people organize. I'm working with the was it 50 I just was it 50151. It's a local was 505 5-1. There's an organization that is helping to, help youth specifically organize. I have been helping them with their media strategy. So if you really want to talk about it, I'm about it, right? I'm doing what I need to do on my end. What are you doing? And so I'm just tired of, I think, the advocacy in me. And y'all know this. I used to march. I used to be an organizer, house down boots. It really, really makes me upset that there's so much talk and not enough action. And I'm just really at that point now where I'm tired of people talking about, well, what are we going to do? Our ancestors left us the blueprint. Like, we've been here before. What else is it going to take for us to take it to the streets and to let people know what power? And I know people who are, so I want to make sure I give credit there. But like I said, I'm just really tired of folks letting the right run them. And I've said this again, and then I'll pass it on to Marie, Adelina. I've said this: if you are a person who happens to find this episode on the right, and you think you're going to come for me, I am taking a page out of Maxine Waters' book and saying you better not miss, and don't show up to my door acting like I'm a play scared because you've come to find me, because I'm not that girl. You are not the girl you want to catch. I am not the girl you want to catch on a good day or a bad day. So keep it online. keep it online, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I am Compton bred. I am San Bernardino bred. I'm gonna leave it at that. Warning. Get you somebody else. Marie-Adélina, what are your yes ma'ams and no ma'am Pams of this week?
Ooh, my yes ma'am, I have to give it up to Michelle Buteau.
Amen. Amen.
Survival of the
Mm-hmm.
Thickest season 2 is so, 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 so good. And I love that she does not tone it down, she tones it up. I love that that she uses her platform to uplift people. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
the if you watch a show, I don't want to give spoilers, but it's nah. But you know, having a trans story uh, in the season, a beautiful story in this season, it's amazing. So I always give it up to her. She's amazing. My no man Pam are just miserable ass people
Tea.
not minding their business.
The maps. Miserable ass with the map.
Just I just don't understand why you are miserable and nosy. Like
Because they need somebody. Yeah, go off, sis. I don't want to cut you
yes,
off. Go off.
so I went out the other night with my sisters, my trans sisters, to
Mm-hmm.
a straight bar, and it's something I do all the time because
Mm-hmm.
I do feel comfortable in those spaces.
Okay.
And I guess one of the sisters, she knew a guy in the past, and he saw her talking to someone else. So when the guy left, he like 5 10 minutes went by, he came back and his whole demeanor changed, and then he started asking questions like, are you trans,
Mm.
and things like that. And it was that miserable ass man
Mm-hmm.
that she knew, and it's people like him, like, go do something,
Mm-hmm.
read a
Go
Mm-hmm.
get your
book,
ass, girl.
Yeah.
stay
Mm-mm.
home if you're that miserable,
No,
like
Yeah.
mind your business.
But misery loves company, sis. That's what I was gonna say. Misery, they love company, honey.
They
And to the
get
dogs,
company because you're so miserable to be around.
yeah, you can't keep company because you're miserable. But a lot of the dolls, I tell people all the time, a lot of the dolls don't need a partner. They need a therapist.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, no
Mm-hmm.
lie.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them need a therapist, a black one at that. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about it. Mother Joho, what's on your
So
radar?
mine's just real silly, y'all. So my yes ma'am is whoever had there's been, I don't know if y'all follow the memes and stuff, but there was a meme that was like when a clock like when a gag is clocked but no one ever hears it, does it even slay? And since then, people are now saying like pe- pe- people are
Sorry,
like
that's funny.
people are like child gag clock, slay the gag. I want to order a child McMuffin, gag clock, slay boots, honey. And it's just
Yeah.
we are messy people, and I love it so much because now I'll be like, hey Diva, did you clock a gag today? Child, did you boot slay?
Yeah, did you boot slay the house
Did
down
you boot slay
queen?
house down queen?
Yes.
I'm out here in Taco Bell. They're like, we want to order. Child, can I gag me a bean burrito?
Yeah.
Can you
Can I
clock?
get the house down boot
Listen,
special, please?
okay.
Yes.
Can you clock me a chalupa? And
Can
I
you
live
clock me a
I
chalupa?
live for it. So just
Mhm.
yes,
Matter
ma'am.
of fact, can we go back? So you know what? We got a little bit of time left.
We do
Because
not have a lot of time left.
we don't have we do. I'm going to say it. I know we don't, but we do. What I'm gonna say is this. Taco Bell got me this week with the chicken chalupa. It's nasty. It's dry. Take it off the menu. I know we'll probably never get sponsored by them. But I really want them to take that.
words for you. That is her only order.
It's
Chicken chalupa.
disgusting.
That shit's
Please.
delicious. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
it's
That shit's
not.
delicious.
Why is the
TB,
chicken so dry, Joho?
you can sponsor me, Taco Bell. You can sponsor me. It's fine. It is so good. It is not dry.
It is.
You gotta get properly sauced. You gotta get properly sauced.
I don't want no sauces on my chalupa.
Sauce on chalupa?
Just
You want dry
Star-free
chalupa?
cheese, barely tomatoes and lettuce. Are you a Taco Bell girly?
Me? No.
Okay, no.
No.
Okay.
Marie-Adélina judged us.
But really, you live in New York, right? You live in the city.
No, I live upstate New York in Rochester.
Oh, that's cool. Me. Okay. I'm like, I feel like Taco Bell is not East Coast thing to me. I feel like it's just
It's here,
know.
but there's other better options. But I'm also bougie.
Okay, you know, we're gonna move right on past this. The slander,
I love
the
that. I love
hateration,
the
in this dance
judgment.
free today. Oh my god!
There
I
is
did not come on
hateration.
this show.
Yes.
I didn't come on my own show to get attacked like this. You are not you are clocking my gag in the worst way. You are not boots housing down me. Okay, you are slaying
and
my
this is
child.
what trans day visibility is.
Taco
Marie-Adélina
Bell,
clocking
though.
us.
I mean, are you eating Taco Bell like late at night, or is this like you actively chose?
So my no man Pam is going to be to our guest actually because I cannot deal. No, it is usually a 10 p.m. I got some munchies. I went out for a little
hungry.
bit. Yeah,
I'm trying to slide through real quick. That was me the other night.
Yeah,
so yes.
It's never like, hey, this would be a great meal tonight. It is.
Yeah.
I want it.
Quick.
Yeah, it's something quick and easy, nice and rough.
Oh.
Okay, so my no man Pam. I know people are plugged into this week's breaking news of the Atlantic article where the editor was in the Signal group chat with our representatives. So then the no man Pam isn't to the group chat itself. The no man Pam is to the editor who left the chat, because you had a journalistic responsibility to stay in that chat and let us know what was tea. Child, clock the gag. How dare you leave?
I've never yelled at a woman like this, but I yelled at a woman like this. Yeah.
I was rooting for you. We was all like, if you in that chat, motherfucker, don't say a damn thing. You slowly build your case, okay? You could have been there for a month. Slowly build your case. You gave it all of 5 days and 30 seconds and a biscuit and said, I'm leaving the group chat. They don't recognize that you're there, girl. The amount of information you could have put in that bitch. Oh my god, why? No man Pam to y'all, because to you, editor in chief, because I don't know why. I'm sorry you were there. I imagine it was wild to see. I too would have been gagged as well, but I would have kept my happy ass shut. Wait a good 2 weeks and been like, know what, y'all? Let me tell y'all what happened in this group chat.
Yeah.
Bam.
But mother probably was like, I'm not trying to die over this. So
I mean, because also
like, have a nice day.
I do realize Secret Service at your door saying,
yeah,
delete or
and
die.
You would go missing very quickly.
Right.
Because
but he published it though. He published it. So I'm like, are you okay, girl?
Tea? Yeah,
do you have a security detail? Okay.
Yes. Blink twice if you need some help, sis.
I'm just saying.
I can't help you, but I'm sure there's somebody who can. All right. Call Obama. All right. With that being said, please send us your thoughts, your feedback, and emails at blackfatfempod@gmail.com. We always love hearing from y'all. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our post on Instagram, Blue Sky, and the ticks of the talk, honey, by using the handle Black Fat Femme Pod. We are everywhere. We are everywhere. Marie-Adélina, my love, where can the dolls find you? Or should I ask? Let me ask you, where would you like to be found?
I'm on all the channels, on all the apps at Loveable Trans Auntie. You can read my weekly column, Your Loveable Trans Auntie, every Wednesday on advocate.com, and like and follow me on social at Loveable Trans Auntie.
All right. I know that's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Amen. Amen. Queen Joho, where can the dolls find you, or where would you like to be found?
Of course, my loves, you can find me every week on this show, if not on my socials at Joho Daniels across all the socials. My website, JordanDaniels.com, or you can find me this weekend. I wish I could tell you being home, but you won't find me being home either because I have too much to do. But you will find me
Nope.
tonight for sure. On my bed, high as hell, with a Taco Bell in my hand, just for the revenge of it all.
Eating that dry ass chicken
Eating
chalupa.
that
My
wet
God.
ass chalupa. Okay.
No. Oh,
Uh,
disgust.
she don't
All
love
right.
herself.
Yeah.
I feel
I
so
just want you to love yourself more.
I
That's
feel
what trans day
so
visibility
attacked right
is.
now. I don't even get chalupas in the first place. Leave me alone. I'm gonna get me my
Mm.
main grill and my cantina chicken, girl.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Oh, Taco Bell is like, now how I get in it? You see how they throw
Now,
me in the thing?
now why am I in this?
Now why am I in it? That is so funny. As for me and as mine, you can find me in your favorite bookstore parking lot dancing like a robot to get people to buy my book. Please continue
I'm
to
gonna see you on the
run it
streets and
up.
that like inflatable thing that's going
The
like
inflatable doll, yes, God, Nessa, I'll be in there, letting folks know that there are copies that are signed inside the building. Otherwise, you can visit my website at www.drjohnpaul.com. All of the tour dates are there. We are slowly adding more, so that's actually really exciting. But if I'm not in your city and you have interest in me being in your city, jump in my messages.
Yeah.
Go to my website, send me a message, and say, hey, Dr. Higgins, we'd love to have you here. Is there a way we can make that happen? And yeah, me and the folks over at Wiley will try to make it happen. All right, we want to thank our producer, Bei Wang, for handling all the logistics with this show, and everyone over at iHeartMedia for keeping the show up and running, because without y'all,
For
the
another
lights
year.
would
Thank
not.
you.
Yeah. Oh, and let's talk about it. We were just renewed for another year.
Okay.
So,
What?
yes. There
Oh,
is more. Oh, look at the baby. Look at the baby. I'm sorry.
pizza.
Yes, a little baby doogie. But all that to be said, we are up and running for year what? We're not going into year 3. This will be
Yeah,
year 3 for us.
year 3, but essentially year 4 because we're gonna have over 200 episodes. So okay.
Yeah. Amen, amen, amen. Okay, so with that being said, anyway, we are pushing it and we are keeping it going. But yeah, thank you, iHeart, for continuing to support us and uplift this show. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it here. We also like to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, you wouldn't have a show or visuals, which you all can watch for free down to the tube of you. So if you would like to watch this episode, that is a place where you can go. Our episodes go live the same day the episodes drop. So feel free to do that. With that being said, this has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be your cup of tea, but girl, get a Slurpee or some water. You probably need it anyways, baby girl.
I know that's right. I love us for real.
Bye.
Bye.